Welcome everybody to this OneDoor Studios update. Been a couple months since we reached out to you guys, and the last update was that we had signed producer Belle Avery on with us as the producer for Calculated and the Calculated series. And if you haven't seen that one, please go back to our YouTube channel, which may be where you're watching this video. And our YouTube channel is OneDoor Studios. We'll put the link right there on the screen so you can see it. And please watch that update with Belle Avery to meet her, see who she is, and see her library of work that she's done in the film industry. And so we've received a lot of messages from investors since then saying, hey, so what's the new timeline? Because the timeline definitely has shifted with having a new producer on board and her team. So we wanted to kind of give you guys the update of what is the new timeline for Calculated. Where's the script at? Where is the package at? Funding, pre-production, production, distribution, all that jazz. We wanted to give that to you. So I wanted to start off by saying that I had to kind of apologize to my son. My son is 18 years old, and when he was 16 or so, he was saying, "So, Dad, the movie's going to be out. Calculated's going to be out by the time I graduate high school, right?" I was like, "Yeah, should be right about that time. That's our timeline." Well, he's graduated high school, and the movie's not out yet. So I had to say to my son, "Sorry, it didn't quite meet our timeline." But I think, John, you have this quote that says, "A project is going to go." What's your quote about that? You know what I'm saying, don't you?
It takes the time it takes, kind of.
Kind of takes the time it takes. It's never going to be exactly what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
It'll either
yeah,
be less time or it's going to be more time.
yeah. It won't be dead on. But
Won't be
the
dead on.
important thing is that it's done right.
Right.
And that's one thing we've been able to do. We've made steps around COVID and strikes and one thing and another. But the steps we've taken have taken us one step closer each
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
to where the project really deserves to be, must be, and everyone wants it to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. One
So
thing is for sure, we are certainly farther along today than we were 2 months ago. And 2 months ago, we were farther along than we were months before that. So it is always moving forward. It has not been stagnant. I think maybe the only time it felt stagnant was during the strikes when we weren't allowed to do anything uh, with the script with the project because of all the strikes. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about. We just got an update from Belle. Belle is working with her team to do script revisions, and the reason she's doing more script revisions, some people may say, enough with the script revisions. But the thing is, we want to have the script. Well, we received several no's, as you all know. We told you when we were going to certain production partners, and some of them, considered it. Some of them were excited about it, but then other people in other departments said, "Yeah, we'll pass." So we received maybe one too many passes, and we realized we need to up the ante in this story so that the next time we go to somebody, we're not getting a no. And that's what Belle has been doing. She's been working with her team. She has a team of writers that she's been working with to really make this, as she said, these are her words here. She said, the U.S. marketplace is shifting, and it is more important than ever to be a global production. I am working on the revisions in a way that will work with this shift away from U.S. films dominating and be even more global. So,
Hey, Stephen,
yeah,
I just want to give a plug to any investors who maybe for some reason didn't see our last update,
right.
because it did go in depth into who Belle Avery is and why she actually has the right to speak to this. What she did with the Meg was fantastic. And just quick recap, it was Disney and New Line had it, and they couldn't bring it. They couldn't get the script where it needed to be. And I mean, we're talking Disney couldn't do it with millions and millions of dollars put in. Belle bought it, and she got the script where it needed to be, the adaptation, and made a billion-dollar franchise out of it. So,
Right. Yeah. So Bell is currently working on those revisions right now to make this a global franchise. So one of the investors actually we use a email from an investor as kind of a template for Bell to answer for the timeline. And so these are the questions that the investor asked, and these are the answers that Bell gave. So the investor wanted to know how long are we looking at for Bell's and her team's script revision? Are we looking at 2 to 3 months? And her answer was 12 to 18 weeks, aiming for October 15th to be ready to go with the new script. So as we're recording this update right now, we're looking at 5 weeks till the next delivery of the updated script. The next question they were asking was who are we going to pitch it to? And she didn't really answer that question, like who, because we couldn't kind of divulge that information anyway, because that could ruin relationships if we did that. But in 6 months, aiming to have a deal in place by summer of 26, if not before. And then the next question was, what about directing and casting? The question was, will it take 3 months? And she said 4 weeks to 8 weeks. And then pre-production is 16 to 20 weeks. Production is 10 to 16 weeks. And then theatrical release, she is estimating um, that the soonest is fall 2027 or spring, summer of 2028 for the release date. Now, she is not, guys, she's not just taking calculated to the distributors for this deal, right?
No, no, she's definitely not. That was one of the genius things that she did on the Meg was she got production funding lined up herself for most of it, and may let the studio come in uncalculated for a percentage of the production budget. But she's planning to help us go out and get the production budget, the capital for it ourselves.
So essentially, she's pitching the entire franchise to the distribution partner, not just calculated.
She's pitching the franchise, but it's led with the pilot. It's led with the first, the first picture. So that's unquestionably where the focus is.
Right. So I'm gonna go backwards a second here and talk about the script because what she's been working on the script, people are probably curious. So I know Dan has been speaking with her and has seen some of the updates she's done. So I wanted to give Dan a chance to talk about that.
So I come from the creative side, and I always enjoy the heart of a new creative coming and taking a fresh look. And I think that's what I enjoy about Belle is she's been bringing a new, fresh look at what we've been, our baby, right? And she's brought, I believe, a passion toward, the why of the story. Just going back to the why is this story great? What is the why that brings that emotional connection and brings us back to the heart of why we do this? And so she's many times when she gets on a call, and you can acknowledge this, she'll start talking about her passion for where we should go with the script, and it's brought us to the level of tears. I can't express what she said because that gives away what brought us to that point. Mm-hmm. But she does bring us to an emotional place when she brings these ideas, and I've so much enjoyed that.
Yeah. And I just want to thank the investors who have been so patient in this whole process. I was thinking about when we started this project years ago. It was actually right before COVID, and maybe even longer than that. But if we look at where we are now compared to where we were then, three of us, which is John Jay and I, we were scraping up our own personal funds just to be able to pay for some marketing on WeFunder just to get the first few investment dollars in. And here we are. Yes, it's been slow, but here we have Belle Avery and her production team, producers of the Meg, on board with us and going to be taking this thing to distributors soon. So that's a big jump from that first day until now. I know it's been slow, and it's been for some people maybe get impatient with it, and I myself get impatient with it. But I just want to thank you guys for sticking with us. The project is alive and is still moving forward, and yeah, we're glad to be on this journey with you guys.
Sometimes the incubation process of a great project, that the time forces a little bit more thought. It forces you to step away from the script, come back to the script, look at it with fresh eyes. And I think that's been happening in a really good way. Every time we get back to the why we're doing this, it brings us back to is that in the script? Is that in our vision for execution and in the marketing and the way we approach it? So I've enjoyed the new members as they come in and bring new fresh eyes to it. I think that part of the process is necessary to the finished product.
Yeah, and the one thing cool about Belle is when she took up the Meg, she had this attitude of, she kind of told us this, she has this attitude of like, I'm going to get this done. And that is the exact same thing she said about Calculator. She said, oh, we're getting this film done. And in her mind, it's no question whatsoever. She's passionate about it. She's got a great team on it, and we're excited to see what happens next. So,
I would like to say one of the things that I'm excited about is we've been thinking about this is a global movie marketplace. It's no longer a domestic marketplace, and a lot of distributors think in terms of domestic only. I think a lot of times even investors think in terms of the American market where we see the movies. But what I think Bell brings is a real vision for what it takes to be a global piece of art. In some of these countries, they don't like the same art we like. They don't have the same taste. And one of the scopes she puts this through is the global view. What will they look at when they see this film? And that's, I think, what's being done to it right now. It's being globalified. It's being understood in
mhm.
a language that maybe not isn't our own. And I think that's why she's done so well in those markets to raise funds. And I think that's why she's doing so well for building traction with us as well.
Yeah, Belle's a
You know,
brilliant person.
if
Absolutely
I
brilliant.
could piggyback on that, that reminds me of something John taught me a long time ago. In fact, I'll never forget when he was presenting in Qingdao in China. It really kind of took the audience aback that on really good major motion pictures, what John, you said, I think two-thirds of the income comes from outside of the U.S.
Right. Yeah. So true. And it's true now too. I think the point Steve was making just a moment ago about and he was, I think, parroting um, Bell, was that the global industry, the global marketplace has shifted so dramatically in the last few
Yeah.
years. China with most of the audience yeah, on the on the planet has become really independent, and their pictures they've responded to basically the U.S. dominant position of our motion pictures dominating globally. The same thing with Korea as well, Japan to a certain extent, but all of these major international marketplaces Belle is real familiar with and fresh on from the pictures she just released, and her relationship in each of these major markets, including Germany and Japan and the China and Korea. They're all real important to be represented in the materials and then represented during the presentation we make to a studio who are all really keen on this as well. And the fact that it's an international global picture and that the script speaks to that outside of what else we may say in the meeting. When they do their own private analysis, when they're the only ones in the room, it's evidence that can't be denied. And they'll look at it and say, this really is what it needs to be. Let's step up and get involved. So she's the
Cool.
right person, the right time, just
Yeah.
as Jay said. She's pinned it, and we've been given this opportunity with her. So we're on schedule, the new schedule.
Yeah.
So just get in step with us. We're in step with Bell, and we will keep you informed as
Yep.
we march it forward.
On schedule with the new schedule.
Yep.
That's our quote for the day. But well, that's it, guys. We wanted to keep you guys in the loop on what's going on, and we'll be happy to see you again next time on the next OneDoor Studios update. So, ciao, hasta.
Again.